Keith Lee might have just accidentally destroyed the TikTok Tendernism restaurant's image, and the situation is just a complete dumpster fire, as the viral restaurant went from having lines out the door to having their social media posts just flooded with hate comments, all in just a few weeks. And this is all after they fumbled an opportunity that a lot of dining spots in America could only dream of, because it seems like Keith shined a light on something which caused the internet to ask a whole lot of questions. And that's crazy, because on paper, this could have easily become a massive win for them. But unfortunately, it went the worst way possible. I think my entire camera rig is sideways. Yeah, the tree's good. All right, we'll just film this video quick. But this whole story starts with a man named Walter Johnson, an elderly retired chef who goes by Mr. Tendernism online, though most people just refer to him as Unk, because recently, Walter became one of the most famous people on food TikTok, and it all happened without him trying to be an influencer in the first place. And while he may have not had an intention of becoming a massive personality, his TikToks are just so wholesome that honestly, it's not hard to see why he blew up in the first place, especially when it came to his reactions to the tender barbecue served at the restaurant he associated with. Like, you can tell this guy is obsessed with what he's doing.
Y'all think we was playing though. See this brisket here? I tried telling y'all about tendernism. You think I'm playing. Look. Boy, that's what I'm talking about. I just love this type of stuff right here. But look here, this is beef bone. Look. I told you, destination, one in the nation. That what we do down here, I was trying to show y'all something I couldn't even show it. So if it, boy, look here, this is tendernism at its best.
And while the TikToks are simple at the core, there aren't many people out there that can really match that energy. Again, you can just tell how dedicated he is to his craft. And people instantly connected with it because the videos started pulling millions of views, and tendernism became this meme catchphrase that spread like wildfire. And Unk became this beloved social media figure pretty much overnight. But the thing is, Walter didn't set out to become an influencer or build his personal brand. He was just a retired chef who happened to walk into a place called Destination Coffee Bar back in January of 2020. And here, he started making gumbo. And the family running the place liked him enough to bring him on board, and that decision ended up changing everything for their business. The coffee shop belonged to Nick Yapremian and his family, and they'd been running the spot called Destination Coffee Bar in Hemet, California since 2016. Nick's mom, Patricia, was managing it initially, then Nick took over in 2019 and started thinking about ways to expand what they were offering. When Unk joined in early 2020, he started pushing for them to add barbecue items to the menu. And then March 2020 happened. Everything shut down for a few weeks, and they had to figure out what to do next.
This is how we got started right here, coffee shop. 2016, we opened as a coffee shop and took over the business after my father passed away. My family didn't want to run it anymore. I took it over in 2019. Ran it for about a year, saw some really nice improvements, but I met Walter at the end of 2019 and he wanted to teach me more about turning this place into a restaurant. I thought he was crazy from day one, but he showed me a lot. We started doing a lot of great things. Pandemic hit and then we started doing barbecue, all his idea again. I thought he was crazy. Who's going to do barbecue out of a coffee shop?
And they used those weeks to completely reimagine the business and decided to simplify everything. They ditched the coffee shop model and went all in on barbecue-focused events. And the first event went really well, so they kept going. And over the next couple of years, that coffee bar gradually transformed into Destination Smokehouse, a Texas-style barbecue restaurant. And the timing worked out, but what really made the difference was Mr. Tendernism's videos going viral.
So going viral was pretty crazy for us. So we had a big following already, but when we went viral, we started meeting people from all over the country, people just learning about our business through our viral videos. So the impression they had of our business was totally different from what a whole another group of people who've been following us for years knew about Destinations. So it's been great. It's been really great for business. We've met a lot of great people. There's been some challenges. I'm not going to lie. There's a gift and a curse with everything, but I wouldn't even call it a curse. I just say it's a learning experience. It's made us sharper. It's made us better.
So once the Tendernism content started taking off, people weren't just watching for entertainment. They were actually making the trip to eat there in person, and lines started forming around the block. The restaurant expanded to a second location in Murrieta, and Destination Smokehouse went from being a local spot to a legitimate destination that people traveled across the country to visit. Essentially, Unk became the Salt Bay of barbecue, and the first video that really blew up was this one.
I just want to see if they tender ain't the word. This perfection right, look at that. That's pure D black diamond right there. That's oxtail at its finest. Smoking to perfection. Destination, one in the nation.
Because as of right now, I mean, this video has 23 million views on Instagram. And other influencers started showing up too. Jordan the Stallion made a video with Mr. Tenderism, and that got over 20 million views.
Come here, I have to go back and make sure that tenderness was truly accurate. Okay, we're gonna go check out this tenderness. Oh, the lion is out the door. I'm here for the tenderness. I need the brisket, please.
Let's see what happens. And then, you know, shake it a little bit.
Come on now. Come on now.
Tendernism.
Tendernism.
Boy, yeah, destination.
No, man, that is tender. That is true tenderness.
And just like that, the place became known as the Tenderism capital of the world. And Unk's face was just everywhere in their content. And everything was going great. The business was thriving, both the restaurant and the chef were becoming more famous, and they had this perfect setup where their viral content was bringing in customers every day. Well, that was until Keith Lee decided to show up. And this is by no means Keith Lee's fault, hence why it's accidentally in the title. Because Keith Lee, he's one of the most influential food reviewers on TikTok right now. He has about 17 million followers, and his reviews have the power to completely transform a restaurant's business overnight. His format is essentially ordering food from local spots, usually has family members placing orders for him so he doesn't have to get recognized or get treated differently. Then he eats in his car and rates everything from the scale of 1 to 10. Just him, a bag of food, and his opinion. And he's also known for tipping huge amounts to small businesses. So in late December of 2025, he finally made it to Destination Smokehouse. And apparently, people were requesting this for months, and given how viral Mr. Tenderism became, it seemed like an obvious destination for him to hit.
Me and my family are currently in Marietta, California, and this, in my opinion, is the most anticipated video I've ever done. In my hand is food from Destination Smokehouse, with the Tenderism. My whole mission today to see, in my opinion, is the food actually Tenderism, or do I just love watching Let's find out together. I got it, let's try it, and we're doing 1 through 10. We spent $129.77. The customer service, my family said, was very good. This food was quick. It only took us 10 minutes to get it. And is here, but walk around with 4 different security guards, which I fully understand because people probably bombarding him nonstop.
So he tried pretty much the whole menu, filming his reaction from the car like always. And honestly, his review was solid, except he kept saying Tenderism instead of Tendernism. Shout out to Jordan the Stallion for at least getting the catchphrase right. But the review was good. This was going to be a massive win for the restaurant until Keith spent the ending of the video talking about Mr. Tendernism himself, praising his personality and authenticity. And he said it's incredibly difficult to engage with people the way Walter does. And he appreciated how genuine his passion for food seemed to be.
For me, the standout was absolutely the oxtail. But past oxtail, the standout is Unk. Not only, in my opinion, is it extremely hard to get people engaged like that, to show your true personality, to be yourself, no matter how fast things take off in the space. I don't think he intended for it to go the way it's going. I think he just wants to show his love of food and his love of what it is that he's doing.
And again, for any restaurant, this would be a massive W. Positive ratings, millions of views, glowing praise for your most recognizable employee. However, it wasn't until when Keith tried to actually meet Unk that things started to get a little bit complicated. So in his video, Keith had a few $1,000s of cash with him that he wanted to give directly to Unk as a tip, plus another $1,000 that he planned to use to buy food for random customers at the restaurant. But then the security stopped him. They told him that Unk was done for the day and couldn't be interrupted because he was recording a podcast. Keith then tried to leave the money with someone else to pass along to Walter, but they refused to take it, which is interesting because he had thousands of dollars he wanted to give them, and the restaurant was basically like, nah, we don't want the tip, we're good. What? That is very interesting for a restaurant to decline a tip.
I'm personally taking $5,000 out of my own bank, and we going to say happy holidays to Unk. So, update, we could not get to Unk. Security said it was over with for the day. They said that he was filming something. I believe he was filming a podcast. We had $5,000 in cash, or $4,000 in cash that we was gonna give him a hand. They didn't take it, so we're not only gonna take this money and feed some people, but we just gonna do what we feel like we're supposed to do in the community with.
Either way, stuff like this shatters the third wall for the audience, and it makes the creator suddenly not seem as authentic, or it makes people think, I wonder why that happened. Now, this is not Walter's fault. This is the fault of the team around Walter. So when the video went up, people were immediately confused. No one could wrap their head around why a restaurant would turn that down. And a whole wave of comments with theories and speculations started appearing. Because here's the thing, while Nick Yepremian is listed as the owner and pitmaster on the restaurant's social media, Walter gets described differently depending on who you ask. Sometimes he's called the chef, sometimes he's a pitmaster, sometimes he's a partner, sometimes he's just staff. Walter himself has called Nick his partner before, but when people started asking direct questions about whether he actually has equity in the restaurant, his answer is that's nobody's business. And Nick said in an interview that Walter is definitely a part of the business and not an employee, but he also said that he wanted to respect Walt's privacy, so he also didn't give any specifics about their financial arrangement, which honestly makes sense.
We were a destination coffee bar trying to sell a little bit of ribs and a little bit of chicken just to get people to come in and try out the rest of the restaurant. We started on 2 little char grillers. Something you can go buy in a store. We've had ups and downs. That's why we can call each other brothers. You don't think there's friction when a guy who's just a few years older than me, who's been cooking barbecue his whole life, finds out that this guy took it on his own to want to learn Texas-style barbecue, and we butted heads. It's a real thing. And as far as ownership goes, as much as I'll say, because I'm going to respect Walt's privacy, Walt is definitely a part of this business. He is not an employee. I would be safe to say that the finances that we have both been able to increase into our bank account since we've been here has been something great for both of us. Talking numbers, talking any of that, I just don't think that's professional.
I feel like it's fair that it's not the public's business, but obviously the internet is not going to like that response. Either way though, the real problem wasn't even the initial incident with Keith Lee not meeting Unk. The real problem was how the restaurant decided to respond afterwards. So Nick, the owner, went on to Willie D Live podcast with Walter to address the situation. He started by saying that if he'd known Keith Lee was there, he would have asked Unk to stop filming so they could meet him. But then he said he reached out to Lee afterwards and got zero response, despite being very respectful. And then he said this.
But ever since I reached out to him, I've gotten zero response. I thought I was very respectful. From what I've watched from the review, it just didn't seem like he really captured what it's like when you come to this place. It's just disappointing that as popular as people could be on social media, people don't know everybody. You know, I'm in shock. We just went to Dallas and you had to see it in person. Everybody came up to Walt.
Well, I mean, that becomes difficult for him. It's not like Keith can just go to a TikTok famous restaurant and have an authentic experience there, since, you know, the customers going there are most likely they're from TikTok and they would, you know, most likely know who Keith is. So here, it makes sense that Keith reviewed it in his van like he does with so many other restaurants. But from what it looks like, it seems like the whole situation went from a simple miscommunication to a full public relations disaster. And I mean, just scrolling through the comments of his interview, the response did not help. And that's where people start digging through old content and finding old footage. Because there's this one video that's showing Unk being behind the camera filming the owner, Nick.
Found out why Tenderism was too busy to meet Keith Lee.
Personally, I don't see anything wrong with this. Obviously, this was an old video and it wasn't taken the same time Keith Lee was there, but the internet took this and ran with it. So some people have been saying ever since Unk started going viral on social media, Nick has been trying to step in and put himself in front of the camera more. But honestly, after scrolling through all their content, I can't really say this is accurate because there's so many old videos with Nick in them as well. It's just that Mr. Tendernism here was the extremely viral one. The one with Nick in them didn't go as viral, but they were regularly on camera together as well.
That Walt and I became together and we became partners after about 4 years of working with each other. He's the only reason why this place does barbecue. He's the original pitmaster, recipe maker, everything. I owe him everything. That's why he became a partner. When I took over the cooking, because
He came his own pilot when he came over stuff. I want to be like me. I want to be better than me. So he got this and called Bristol. Booyah!
So the big question is, what's going on here? And honestly, it's hard to say because all we have is speculation, like this or this. But from what I can tell, he's still a part of the regular content. His views are down a lot, and a lot of people are now saying that it feels forced now compared to how it was when the account originally blew up. In one video, they gifted Walter a car, and the top comment is this. So it seems like the audience is very much turned on them, or specifically the owner. But I feel like it's really important to note, Unk is still appearing in the videos. He still frequents the restaurant, and I haven't found any solid evidence that Walter's relationship with Nick has changed at all since then. The big question here is where all of this disappointment with Destination Smokehouse is really coming from, especially on TikTok. Is it all from Keith Lee's video? Because it seems like the hate started right after that situation. But either way, it seems like this backlash caused this like dramatic fall from grace, which also led to a massive decline in viewership. And one thing that's also worth pointing out is, even though Nick and Walter briefly addressed their partnership during the Willie D Live interview, there's still one topic they never touched on: the $5,000 tip that Keith Lee wanted to give directly to Unc. And then at the same time, you have a bunch of comments saying, "I have a gut feeling that the owner is acting like a handler." So, is the internet overreacting? Honestly, I don't know, because we don't have a lot of information, but it does definitely bring up a conversation about what the internet's role is in all of this, especially when it comes to judging private business relationships from the outside with very limited information. Now, I feel like the smartest thing Nick could do here, or could have done here, was give Walter some equity in this business, because now suddenly he's a massive revenue driver for the business. Without Walter, this business loses its main marketing arm. So I don't see why he wouldn't give Walter equity and have Walter come out and say, "Hey, this is my restaurant." That just seems like a no-brainer to me. But for some reason, they haven't gone out and publicly said this. So somehow on TikTok, it seems like Keith Lee accidentally destroyed the image of this restaurant, because just look at the top comments from their recent videos. I mean, you can't go to any of their recent TikToks without being bombarded with comments like this. And they used to post a whole bunch to TikTok, and now they haven't posted on TikTok for over a month, and they're still posting to Instagram, but the comments are also very similar. So either they ignore the hate and continue, or address it somehow. What will happen? Who knows? But other than that, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.